Yep, I went to a record show this morning, folks. Got some Beatles items at a record fair by my house. And not as much stuff as I usually get. I just made a video where I showed the regular non-Beatles stuff that I picked up there and saved the Beatles for this one. So before I get into that, I'm going to show an item, not from the show, but an item that I forgot to show in my last Beatles Find video. This is from my record store, and there's not much to look at. It's just a plain white jacket. It's a pirate record, as they call them, and you can see the title here. Somebody had written, it says The Beatles Come Back, K-U-M, back. And this is an album that I used to have in my original Beatles collection. In fact, it's probably the first Beatles bootleg record that I ever owned, and I'm going to say I bought it around 1976 or 7. So I was only like, 14, 15 years old, something like that. But my copy back then at least had a picture on it. It had one of those mimeographed carbon copy pictures that they would run off on Scotch tape or glue onto the cover. And I really would hope that I would get that back again one day, because even though this was only $5 at my record store, but it was worth it. And just to show you on a tangent how crazy some of the record fairs can be. Do you know that somebody had this same album for $100 at the record show today? Do you believe it? It's good, but it's not that good. Now, this is basically the comeback album. It's basically like the Let It Be, Get Back sessions from 1969, and there's a lot of that stuff floating out there for Beatle collectors. But a lot of it is a lot of half-finished songs, just a couple of verses here and there, a lot of like tuning and joking, and it doesn't really make for the most pleasant listen. This one here, and I recommend it if anybody ever finds the album with that title on there like that. And here it is, Come Back. Should be the same material if it's the same title, I would think. It's actually good stuff in the sense that it's a coherent, cohesive album. It has like just good takes of a lot of the Let It Be songs, just about all of them, and they're all together. They're outtakes or jammings or whatever, but it's not a lot of filler and a lot of garbage there. It's really put like a cohesive album, and I really like that about it, and I always enjoyed listening to it. And it's funny, I played it again, and after all these years that it's been since I listened to it, I remembered all the little nuances and sounds and things that the Beatles did. It's really like a trip down memory lane. And mine wasn't on this orange label. Mine was on a red label, had a picture of a gorilla on it, and it was called King Kong Records. And if I ever get that original one back, it would be interesting. It would be very nice. Here's some, before I go back to more LPs, I'm going to start with the record fair stuff. This is what I picked up this morning at the record show. Before I get into the LPs, I'm going to show some 45s. This is a UK 45 for Help, and of course the B-side is I'm Down. The reason I like this so much is because it's got the letters, the Beatles are speaking the letters H-E-L-P, which is nice. I noticed after I got home, didn't see it when I bought it, that there's no label on the first side. This is the Help side. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be, I doubt it. And you got I'm Down has the Parlophone UK label on it on the B-side, or yeah, B-side. So I basically buy these just for the covers, what I want. I mean, it wouldn't have changed anything, whether I knew it had the label off or not, because it's basically the picture that I want. So it's good to have it. Now I have a John Lennon 45, also from England. And this would be Borrowed Time from the Milk and Honey album. And you got Yoko on a B-side doing a song called Your Hands. Looks like on the cover there, I always like that picture of John apparently teaching his son Sean how to shave, which something that I guess Sean never really learned, because if you look at him now, Sean looks like his father from 1969 in the Bedding for Peace. He's got a beard down to here, right? But let's show the B-side. It's on the silver label here. I know I have this, I'm pretty sure, as a 12-inch vinyl album single, whatever they call it. Also, I got this Paul McCartney. This is the Hope of Deliverance 45 from England, and it's always one of those songs that I felt that should have been #1. I mean, it's a good song, I think. I always liked it. B-side is a non-album track called Long Leather Coat, and if you look closely you could see a shot of Paul's band there, circa 1993 or thereabouts, 92, 93. And, you know, some of these I wonder if I have. I always say that, you know, it starts to get to be that like that after a while. You wonder if you already have this and don't remember. Alright, next item I'm going to show, kind of interesting. I'll put my glasses on for this one. This is an unusual album that I actually had on my radar for a while, you know, and I don't usually see this that often, but it's a very suspect album too. There's something about it I'm not really 100% sure of. This is an album called Beatles at Shea Stadium, right? And it says, described by erupting fans. So the back confirms that. It says Beatles fans talk at Shea Stadium. Now, well, there's the audio journal label down there. This album is suspect, I say, because of a couple of reasons. For one thing, I think I remember hearing snippets from this, and that would be back, I'm going to say the early 1980s. I used to listen to a weekly Beatles radio show, and they'd play a lot of obscure things. And this was one of the items that they played. And I think, if memory serves, that it sounded as though a lot of these may be staged or put on, not really the original fans talking. I could be 100% wrong, and I hope I am. But I didn't really take the time to really read all this, but it says right here, it starts off with like these newspaper headlines, and it says, New York, August 24th, 1964. Last night, the Beatles came to Shea Stadium, and then I stopped and I said, wait a minute. It's like one of those things in a comedy show where like you say, oh, okay, then you do a double take, huh? 1964? The Beatles didn't play at Shea Stadium in 1964. They only played in 1965 and 1966. So that could be a typo. But anyway, all things considered, I don't know what to expect with this record. And whether it's legitimate or not, beats me. And there it is. Beatles at Shea Stadium is the label. Described by erupting fans. But, you know, this is like a collector's piece. Didn't cost too much. So, something I'd wanted for a while, you know, to fill a hole in the collection. Don't really know yet what to expect, as I say. We'll find, oops, hit the fan here. I have a fan over here. A fan that sometimes you put your hand on it. It's a cloth fan. It's not blades, okay? You could keep touching it forever. It's not going to hurt you. But sometimes the album cover touches it. Okay, now, the last time I was at this record show was 6 months ago. I missed 1 or 2 shows in between, and there was a guy there who obviously had inventory to a warehouse or something, and he had like tons of sealed albums by many different artists. And last time, 6 months ago, I wound up buying some Beatles related sealed items. He had them there anywhere starting at $3 and going up to $10, $15, $20 depending what the album was. Most of them were $3, and I picked up some Beatles related sealed albums that had never been opened. Let's start with this one, 1979 self-titled George Harrison album. The only thing about these albums, the catch, is always a catch, is that they're cutout bin copies. So you can see every one has a cutout of some sort. And what you do is he has about anywhere from 10 to 50 of these for every single artist, you know. And you try to find the one that has the least intrusive cut. Some of the George Harrison albums, for example, had like a big slash, really long slash up here. you know, or over there, or so I look for the one that's the least noticeable. And over here you can see it kind of goes along with the design on the cover, kind of like blends in there, so you don't really notice it too much. Then I got Somewhere in England, 1981 album in the shrink, $3. You know, ordinarily I wouldn't really even care. I mean, I've got good copies of these. I think I even have some of these with the hype sticker on it. But you know, it's hard to pass it up for $3. You know, $3. I mean, what's one more sealed copy? You know, I don't think I have sealed copies of all of these anyway. Some of them, but it's nice. You know, I was thinking of the vinyl community as I was going along, and thinking there's a lot of my Beatle friends here that probably could use these sealed. And what's $3, right? But it's like I'm trying to just take a limited amount of money here and not spend it at all, so I can't buy for everybody. And at the same time, I think, you know, sometimes a record costs $3. By the time you get done with overseas shipping, in some cases, it's like $20 to ship it. So, well, here's a Ringo album that I already have sealed, but this is a nice one for $3, and I got it again. And it's Stop and Smell the Roses from 1981. Massive amount of copies. I can't even tell you how many he had. And this one isn't really too bad because it just got down there a little tiny little nick for the cutout bin. You know, these records did not sell that well. So by the way, you know, Ringo's 1976 album, Rotogravure or Rotogravure or Rotogravure or whatever it is, however you pronounce that, you know, the one with him with the spyglass on it. I swear I'm not kidding. A lot of people exaggerate to try to make a dramatic point or something. He literally had to be 400 copies of Rotogravure there. I mean, they weren't all together in one shot, but every once in a while he had like 10 bins there with something like that. And every time you'd go through, you'd find like 25 Ringo Rotogravures in every other bin, and another 30, another 40. But this is another Ringo album that I found in there that you never see this sealed. I mean, I can't believe this. He had about 5 or 6 copies of this too. The Ringo Bad Boy album from 1978 with the hype sticker that says, you know, advertising Ringo's television special from '78, Ringo. And it's not really bad here. Look, not bad at all. Just a little bit here. Slight little nick there for a cutout bin. You never see this album sealed, so I gotta be honest with you, this one was more. Okay, this one was $10, so I was willing to pay it for such a rare album like that. And I have these albums already. I don't have to open them. I can leave them sealed. There's been questions in the vinyl community. Do you leave your albums sealed? Do you open them? There's nothing like looking at a really brand new sealed album of something old like this, as long as you have a playing copy. Here's another sealed one. Okay, this is Hear the Beatles Tell All. This is not an original VJ record from the 60s. This is probably, I'm guessing, an early 80s, the repress. But I have the repress of this to play. But this looks so nice in the shrink. Just a few bucks. Brand new, had to get it. Now this one is really a shock to me, a pleasant shock. It's a Mexican copy of the Wings' Greatest album. And you can see here the Estéreo, El Disco, etc., etc. So there's no nicks in this either. This thing doesn't. This is sealed, never open, and no cutouts. This is not a cutout album, you know. So that's it. You know, thanks for watching. You know, there's a whole bunch of record shows around town, and I'm noticing that I've been missing a lot of them. I've been back into records now for 3 years, and so many shows that are in the area, or if not in the area, you can drive there relatively easy and stuff. And I mean, you can go around the clock all year. Some of these, there's so many shows, and you just can't spend all the time. A few dollars here and there. Anyway, I'm padding this out. Don't know what else to say, but I don't feel like leaving just yet. But nothing else to say. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.